Hi everyone, welcome to part 5 of Python Pandas. Today we are going to learn adding and removing columns and rows in DataFrame.
As you know, every data structure are so made that they can really grow and shrink. That is, column can be added and removed. Rows can be added and removed with ease so that we can focus on greater logic. We should not be bugged up in small logic, how to delete, how to add rows or columns. For this, Python provides beautiful functions and variety of ways to do these. So let us see some of these. So first thing first, let's see the content. So first of all, we are going to see how to add a column to an existing data frame. Okay. Then we are going to see how to delete a column in a data frame. Obviously, sometimes we need to delete unwanted columns. That's really very important operations. And then it will be followed by adding new row to an existing database. Okay. It will be followed by deleting rows in our data frames. And finally, we will be having some questions based on today's topic. Okay, so let us quickly jump to our IDE and see all these things in action and how to perform these crude operations in Python. And before we could start adding a column or deleting a column, we should have a data frame. To do this, I'm going to import two packages, import pandas spd and numpy. Okay, so we will be creating our numpy. First, data is equals to, let's say, we are going to have an np.linspace and we are going to specify, let's say, 1 to 10 and specify only 6 elements. Those who haven't learned how numpy can be populated, they can always go to the link given in description. And then I'm going to reshape it to 3, 2. So I must be having 2 columns and 3 rows, and let's print this data so that it is clear. So I'm having 3 rows and 2 columns, and I will be using this data to create a data frame. So df1 is equals to pd.dataframe data, comma, my columns will be a list of A and let's say B, and my indexes will be, let's say, a list of 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so let's conclude this df1 and let's print. So I'm having a data frame which is generated from my data source, and now I will keep this in my function. So def redefine data frame 1 will be the name. I will be using a global variable, global, let's say df1 will be our global variable. Df1 is equals to something, let's say, like this, enclosing this, and let's call this function readdf1 and let's execute this piece of code. So now why I have created this function, so I can reinitialize anytime I require this data frame. Okay, so let us start our topic, how to add a column to a data frame. This is really easy and Panda has various methods of doing it. So let's learn some of these. Okay, so my first method is df1, and you can specify a column, new column name in a brackets, then specify, let's say we have A and B. Now let us specify C is equals to, I'm going to specify only one value, that is 89. Okay, if I press enter and try to print this, now you can see my column is created and all the values have the same value, all the rows have the same value for a column C, that is 89. Okay, now what if I want to specify different values? So I can do it with the help of df1. Let's say C is my new column, okay, D is my new column, and then I can specify a list, let's say 45, 89 and 100. Okay, and then print this one df1 and let's see what is the effect. Now you can see I can specify multiple values by specifying the list. You can specify numpy array or any other valid sequence. Okay. Now another way to add a column is by using a DataFrames insert function. So let's see how to do it. So first of all, DataFrame object name df1 dot insert and then specify the location. Now location I must be specifying here. You have seen when I use this method, it always adds column to the end of the data frame. So I want to position this value in between A and B. So that will be 0 and 1 according to the location. So first thing I have to pass is the location. 1 will be my location since I want my column to be in between A and B. And then let's specify our data source. Okay, let's specify our column name, and that will be our E. E will be the new column name, and I must specify some values for this. np dot random dot rand int. I must be specifying range itna to itna and only 3 values. Okay, so this will be my data. Okay, so let's run this. Let's correct this spelling and check it out. So my command is executed successfully, and now you can see my E column is inserted at the location 1. So when you want to add a column at the end, you can use this syntax, or you can use the data frame, and then you can specify the new column and value or list of values. And if you want to insert a column at a particular location, you can use insert method. Okay, so this is our second example. Okay, and this was our first example where we have used. My third method is to use a assign method of data frame. So let's do this by simply using df1 is equals to df1 dot assign. Let's have a new column, and its name will be, let's say, f is equals to the values, let's say a comma z comma, and let's say comma r. Okay, so let's try to use this one and print the values. Now you can see my new column f is added with some values I have specified as a list. Okay, so this is the third way of adding a column. Okay, now let us learn the fourth way using a attribute. Okay, to use this, what we are going to do is use the same data frame. DataFrame2 is equals to DataFrame2 dot at. Now I want all the rows to be initialized and a new column name. Now new column will be, let's say, G, and I'm going to specify some of the values or a single value. And now you can see I'm going to get an error because I have to use a df1, and see my command is executed. Now I want df1 to be printed. You can see my column G is created. Now you can use the list of values also, and let's do this. H is the new column, and then I can specify the list, let's say range 1 to 4 with the value of 1 and df1. So now you can see we have different values. Now you can modify this example a little bit. I'm going to copy this one, and instead of a last value, if you are confused how many rows and columns are there, so you can always use df1 dot shape dot 0. So this will give you number of indexes. Okay, so I'm getting error. Now let's see what is the error. It must have equal len keys. Okay, it should be +1, and let's run this program, and now df1. So you can use shape 0 plus 1, or if you use 0 to simply df1.shape 0, it will perfectly work for you. So this is how we can add the rows. Now one more method is there, using a lock attribute. It is little bit similar to the previous one. Here we can use df1.loc. I'm going to specify all the columns, all the rows, and then specify the values. Let's say z. Okay, is equals to, this time I will be specifying only one value, and print this up. Okay, so now you can see my column is added. So these are the some of the ways in which you can add the columns. So to be precise, these are the 5 ways which can be used to add columns to the data frame. You can use any of the method which makes sense to you. Okay, so now let us move to our next topic, that is deleting a column. Okay, for this we have two methods. First method is by using a del keyword. So del, then we can specify the data frame 1, and now you can see I have many columns. I can specify the columns in the brackets and specify as a string. So I will be deleting C. Okay, and then print this df1. Okay, now you can see my C column is erased or deleted. So this is one way of doing it, and the next way of doing it is by using function DataFrames function drop. So let's do this, df1.drop. Now I must specify the column name, and this column name is, let's say in this case, E. So I'm going to erase E from axis 1 is equals to 1, and then print this df1. So now you can see my E is not erased, but if I remove this line, now you will see E is erased. What you need to do is you need to reinitialize it to like this, and then print this up. Invalid indenting. E is not found because E is already deleted. Okay, so let's say like this. So B and E both are deleted. Okay, so what if you don't want to reassign this df1? This can be done by using the same method, but we can specify another parameter, let's say drop, and specify the column, let's say F. I'm going to delete F, comma, access is equals to 1, and then specify in place is equals to, let's say, true. Okay, now if you see and use this, so I haven't reinitialized it. Okay, I have reinitialized it, but so now you can see my G attribute is deleted. Now what if I want to delete by specifying the location instead of specifying the label for the column? So this can be done by a simple trick, df1.drop, df1 actually for columns. Remember attributes which we have learned in previous topics. You can always go to the previous videos, link is given in descriptions. Now we can specify the column indexes. So I will be specifying 2, and let's say F is at 4, so 2 columns should be deleted from the axis 0, axis is equals to 1, and let's say in place is equals to true. Okay, so let's run this code, and you can see my both B and F are deleted. So you can always do it by location. Now you can see how this column is useful to us in this scenario. Okay, Now let us move to our next topic, adding a row. Okay, for this we are going to use a lock attribute. So adding a row, and we will be using the first method, adding a row using a lock and list. Okay, so to do this, we already have a data frame. df1 is equal to df dot location is equals to, I must specify the index value, and that is index value is, let's say, our 4, and then is equals to, I must specify the list, and here I have 1 2 3 4 5 columns, so I must specify 5 values, 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma and 5. Let's run this code. You can see one column is added. Okay, now similarly I can first, let me reinitialize my list, read df1, so that my df1 is initialized, and let's print this. So I must be adding now some more rows to it by using another method. So first method we have used is loc or location method. Then the next method we are going to use a add method. Okay, add is also similar. Let's use it. df1 dot add. Let's specify the new index value, that is 4, or you can specify even 0, is equals to, let's say, list range 0 comma, let's say 2 will be more than sufficient for us now, and let's say df1 print. Okay, so now you can see 0 is added. Okay, so this is the second method in which you can add a row. Okay, next, our next method will be using a DataFrames.append method. Okay, to use this, what we are going to do is df1 is equals to df1 dot append, and then specify the dictionary. Okay, so for this we are specifying a column name A is equals to, let's say, 100, and comma B is equals to, let's say, 200. Okay, so, and ignore indexing, index is equals to, let's say, true, and use df1. Now you can see my values are added. Okay, so this is how you can use append command and use dictionary to add the values. Okay, and next we can use series object or a labeled series object to add a column. Okay, so what we are going to do is use a df1 dot append, and then we are going to specify panda series. Those who haven't learned series object, they can go to the previous video and check the link. Series, let's just say we are going to specify a labeled series. Let's say have 8, 9 will be fine for us, and comma ignore underscore index is equals to, and specify the index. Index is equals to, let's say we have df1 dot columns. Okay, let's run this program and expected error. Now see, so in this way also we can add a row to it. Now see how I have added it. So first of all, df1 is my object, append is the method, and I have created a label series. So you can see we have data 8 and 9, and indexes. Again I have used the attribute of df1 which displays all the columns, and then I have closed and completed my series object, and then I specified ignore underscore index is equals to true. So this will add our row. So this is another way to passing a series in append to append a row in DataFrame. Okay, We can also use another data frame to add this, and for this we will be having another data frame df. Let's say 2 is equals to, copy this one instead of this, df2 column abcd index 1 2 3. Let's we have a data is equals to let's say np is equals to np dot ls space 100 to 200. Let's say we have 6 value, and then reshape it to, let's say 3,2. Okay, and we are going to append this. df1 is equals to df1 dot append, and let's say I must specify df2 comma ignore underscore index is equals to, let's say, true. So let us write one. So you can see my values, my data frame is added, and so my rows are added. So this is today's topic. Let us move to our question section. Now, since you have used various ways to add, remove columns and rows from the data frame, let us see the questions. So here we have question number 1. Write different ways in which you can add columns to data frame objects. So I have taught you 5 ways. You can write these ways to add columns. And then the next question is, write different ways to insert rows to existing data frames. It is followed by another question, write note on DataFrame.drop method. Okay, and hope you have enjoyed adding and deleting rows and columns from the data frame objects. Okay, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching my video. Feel free to comment if you have any queries, and goodbye for now. Thank you very much.